everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. Before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. Now today's tutorial, I'm going to talk to you all about how to make sure you're using the best printer settings to get the best quality prints from using Cricut Design Space. Now I know that we all love using Print Then Cut, but it can be a little bit frustrating, especially when you think you have these great designs and they come out with lines or they come out not as bright as you'd like them to. So I'm going to show you one print without doing any settings and one print doing settings. I'll cut them out and I'm going to give you guys a really good up close view of what they look like to compare them. But I think you guys are going to be astonished with the difference when you use these printer settings. So without further ado, let's get started.
The first thing I want to do is download the designs that we're going to use. And we're going to use these Year of Ice Creams. These are so cute and I love that they have lots of different colors. So this is really going to be able to show off the different print settings so that you make sure that you get the best print possible. So what I'm going to do is click download, and I'll link these down below for you if you want to download them as well. I'm going to put them into my YouTube folder, and I'm going to make a new folder for these, and I'm going to call this print settings. And that way I kind of know, and I realized that my P didn't come across, print settings. I'm going to save them in here. Now I can change the name of this if I want to, if I want to take out the different things, whatever I want to do, just makes it easier to keep track of for me. And then you're going to need to make sure that you unzip or extract your folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click extract all and click extract. Now there's a couple things I do before I go any further, just to save myself some sanity and to keep things really nice and organized. I'm going to go back into this print settings folder and I'm going to delete my compressed folder. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the folder that I unzipped and I'm going to get rid of the JPG and the EPS files. I'm never going to use those. I don't want to take up space on my computer with them, so I don't want to do that. And then we'll open up our PNGs, which you can see are right here. Now, I'm not going to print out the poster that has all the designs, and I'm not going to print out the listing photo ever. So I'm going to delete those as well and just leave us with the different 12 months of ice creams. Now let's head over to Cricut Design Space. Now over in Cricut Design Space, the first thing I want you to notice is I have no layers tab. Don't worry about that. If you open your Design Space and there isn't one, as soon as you add a layer, it will show up. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click upload and I'm going to click upload image. And now I can browse for it, or I can just drag and drop the file since I left the folder open. I'm just going to start here at the top and just work my way through all 12 of them because I want you to see all the different colors. I really want you to see how cool these are going to look. And I really want you to be able to compare the different prints. So I've uploaded this one. I'm going to click continue. Now these are PNGs with transparent backgrounds, so we don't need to do anything. We can just click apply and continue. And you want to save it here as a flat graphic. Click continue again, and then you can change the name if you want to. You don't have to. And then just simply click upload. Now this is going to upload these into our Cricut Design Space onto our canvas, and you'll see our layers panel is open. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload the rest of these, and then I'll show you how we're going to work with them. Well, once I've got everything loaded into my Design Space, you can see it's all really big. We definitely don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and choose select all. I'm going to align them and I'm going to center them. And this is just going to help us kind of get them all smaller so that we can actually, see what they look like. So I'm going to go ahead and just make the height of them all 3 inches right now. That way we're going to be able to see them. They should all fit pretty well onto our printable area. So here we go. We've got all of our little ice creams. Now, what I like to do is I'm going to kind of get these all set up into a line. They're not real neat right now, but I just wanted to kind of spread them out, make sure I had all 12, which I do. And like I said, I did these because I feel like they're really colorful. There's tons of colors on them to choose from. So I think these are going to work really well. Now that I have all of my little popsicles, I do need to add an offset to them. I can line them up first and add the offset, but I prefer to do an offset one at a time. So I'm going to go to offset. Now I did already go in here and kind of decide what size I wanted. I want 0.08 for my offset. I'm going to click apply. Then I want to change my offset color to white. I'm going to select the offset and the popsicle, and then I'm going to go down under my layers and click flatten. That just tells Design Space that that's all one piece. So I'm going to do that to each of these really quickly. And it's great because it does save the size of your offset. So you just have to go in, change that color, and then you can just flatten them. and then I just kind of slide them over to the side. So I'll go ahead and do that to each of them. Now, I will say that some of these look really big compared to other ones. So if you want to size stuff down so it looks a little more uniform, because like these popsicle ones are going to look really big compared to the ice creams, you can do that if you want to. It's truly up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all finished, and then I'll show you our next step. I've brought in my Print Then Cut template, and if you want it, I'll link it down below. It's completely free. This just helps us line these up, get as many on the page as we possibly can. We might need to resize them a little bit, but I think it will be fine. So you can do these in any order that you want to. You can do them in month order, you can do them in whatever, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and get these lined up. So one thing I want you to note is you can't have these bounding boxes. So you see this gray box. This box can't be outside of this printable area. So if you have it like this, it won't work. Now, obviously that's over there, but like, let's say, I don't know if I can get this one to work. Yeah, let's say I put it like this. You can't do this because Cricut sees this bounding box as part of your printable area. So you need to make sure that those boxes are within the edges of your printable template. Now, I'm going to see if I can get these in month order just for funsies. And I'm going to make this guy a little bit bigger. And let's see, we've got February, we've got January, February, March is, I think this one, yes, March. And then April, I want to say was this one. And then I don't remember. Oh, June would be this one. July. August is this one. I think, I don't know. All right, I have no idea what months these are apparently, because I would say that that would be like September, but who the heck knows? I don't know. But I'm going to get these put on here just so they all fit. I'm not really concerned about the size of them. I just want all of them on here so that they all fit so you guys can really see what this is going to look like. So I'm just going to scooch this in. Hopefully this will work. Sometimes Cricut's a little bit weird because you see how this one's kind of going over into this little offshoot. I'm going to hide my letter size design here. That's our template. I'm going to select all of these and attach them so that they don't move. And then I'm going to hit make and see if it will let me. I'm going to save my project and it's going to bring up our screen that's going to show us how this is going to print. It is not going to print this big black line, and it won't print this red area either. It is only going to print your design and then these little registration marks, which you'll see on the next screen. Go ahead and click continue. Now we're going to print this 2 times because I want to show you what happens if you print it without any settings, and then what happens when you use really good settings to make sure you get a really good print. So I'm going to click send to printer. And you'll see here, this is where it shows you those registration marks, and it'll have a little arrow to show you which way to put it in your machine. Go ahead and click next. Now for this one, because we have white around our stickers, we do not need to add the bleed. What bleed does is it just pushes the color out just a little bit past the cut lines so that if it cuts just slightly off, there's no white showing, but we're not going to use that. We're also not going to be using system dialog for this so that you can really see what happens when you don't choose those printer settings. I'm going to print this on the exact same type of material and from the exact same portion here. So I'm going to go ahead and print this one first, and then I'll show you how to print the next one. So we're ready to print our next one, and you're going to use the system dialog for this. Again, we're going to leave bleed off since the edges of our stickers are white and it won't do anything anyways. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the system dialog and turn that little green slider bar on. Then click print. Now this is not going to send it to your printer, but it is going to send it to your printer settings. I'll move these over. So you're going to make sure a couple of things here. First, you're going to make sure your right printer is selected, which is my Inkjet printer from Epson. I'll link all my favorite stuff down below, including my printer. And what you're going to do here is you're going to choose the preferences option. Now, if for some reason you do not have all of these options, you're going to need to reinstall your printer drivers from your printer's manufacturer's site. They're really easy to find. Just go to that manufacturer's website, search for the drivers for your model printer, and they will have them available to you. Sometimes when you install your printer for the first time, the drivers don't install fully, things like that happen. But you're going to want to make sure that you have these preference options. Now, let me just preface this with saying you may want to do some different tests depending on the material that you're using. Now, the paper type that I'm using, which is Nito sticker labels, is going to work best with paper type, and then you're going to go to Premium Presentation Paper Matte. Now, again, depending on what type of product you're using, you may need to adjust your settings, but that's a great place to start and see how it does. Now, I want to make sure that I change my quality here. This one's really important, from standard to high, and always double check that the color is selected. Now, we do want to do one more setting to this under our more options. Now, you may have the high speed setting, or yours may say bi-directional, and that's basically the same thing. It just slows your print head down and helps reduce any lines that may show up on your print. So I'm going to deselect this so that the high speed print is turned off. Now, I do tend to just leave the automatic color correction on. The Epson printers do a really good job, but I'll link a video down below that discusses a little bit more about custom color correction and how to kind of play with that for your printer if you want to try to adjust anything there. Now, all I have to do is click OK and click Print to send this to my printer. I want to give you a view of the two sheets before I cut them. So the one on the left is the one done without any settings, and the one on the right has the settings. Now, I think this watermelon one really shows the lines a lot, and same with the one next to it that's like the apple, but you can see all those lines and how the colors are kind of grainy, and they're just not as bright or as crisp as I would like. Especially with this green one too, I think you can really see it, and same with this one that has the hearts on it. I just think these really show kind of the not so great colors. Again, they're a little bit grainy, they have some lines in them. The colors just aren't as crisp and clean as I would like. Please ignore the dog hair that's on that one. But they're okay, but they're not something that I would call a good print. So these are the ones done with the settings. Please ignore that blob. That was my pen. I accidentally touched it. But you can see there's no lines here in the greens or the reds of our watermelon. The lines look much more crisp and clean. You just have a lot more brightness and a lot more saturation of the color. So I think it comes off a little more true to color, including parts that have, those pinks and those blues, but especially on this rainbow one, I think this one came out really nice. So you can see that by adding those settings, you really make a big difference in the quality of your print. And especially in the cones, I think it really shows the difference in the color. So let's go ahead and get these cut out on our machine.
I want to cut out each set of stickers, but I also want to be transparent with you because I did accidentally print these on the wrong side. So I do have an X on that side just to show myself that I did print them on the wrong side. So one thing I just want you to see is they're very dull on the wrong side, and then on the correct side, they're much brighter. These are actually the ones without any settings, so they're still not great, but just so that you guys know that both of them were printed on the wrong side first. So I am going to print them or cut them on the correct side. I did mark the wrong side. Same with these ones. These are marked, so I printed them on the wrong. And again, you can see how much brighter they are when printed on the right side. So whenever you print out your product, you always want to make sure it's printed on the correct side because that's going to really affect your printing as well. So I'll cut out both sets and then I'm going to put them all next to each other so you can really see the difference.
Now, I really wanted you to be able to see each cone next to its partner cone versus the different print settings. So again, left has no settings and the right has the settings. And I think this is really a true tell as to why you use those print settings, because look at those bright, happy colors that you get from the one with the setting versus that kind of dull, kind of not so crisp color that you get with the other ones. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. I feel like doing color settings and different print settings really helps with some of the frustrations that's brought apart by Print Then Cut. I'm going to link a couple videos down below that I think will be also super helpful if you are new to Print Then Cut or if you want some more information on color settings. This is such an easy thing to do that can really up your Cricut game. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.